Welcome to the Crimeycade podcast. And by the way, that was not the opening I intended to use, the very shortened one, but Stephen Heywood is only got an hour tonight, so I'm going to utilize all the time that he is able to give for tonight's episode. And I got to get Facebook up in case he has to message me, but I sent him the link to join the pod. So, this week I've had to resort to running a cord from this room all the way to the router because I kept having an issue with Wi-Fi disconnecting on me multiple times, especially when I'm doing a gameplay stream. Got to be annoying. And it's like, plug the cord in, it's 25 foot, managed to get it to the router. I kind of had to range the desk over there, put the router on the floor and have it extended out towards this room for me to plug it in, and managed to plug it in. So hopefully the pod, or at least my stream, doesn't freeze up a few times during the course of the program. Anyway, so while we're waiting for Mr. Heywood to come in, I gotta get the screen up. I got the wrong screen up. Last week here on the Crimeycade, our guest was the king of arcades, Richie Knuckles, and I had to check this thing because I had an odd glitch. This slideshow, well, for some reason, wasn't showing up. I don't know why, but anyway, it looks like it's working tonight because I gotta watch my stream through my phone to make sure that I don't have a problem. Anyway, Richard Knuckles was the guest, the king of arcades, Thursday, January the 8th. I kind of over-prepared for that interview. It's like I wrote a bunch of stuff down on this, and when I got him on the show, it's like I have all this stuff, and then somehow I got lost trying to figure out what to ask on this thing. I didn't want to cover the same ground that has been covered in previous interviews because he's done a lot of them over the years. And been 10 years since the documentary, The King of Arcades, had come out, but I was glad to get him on the podcast. And if you're a college football fan, he is rooting for Miami as his daughter is playing, or at least going to school at the University of Miami, studying, of all things, psychology. So, and I got the wrong little pop-out chat. There we go. So thank you for Richie Knuckles if you haven't seen that interview. And by the way, that interview has gotten about over 350 views on Facebook, my Facebook page, versus less than 40 on Twitch, which is kind of interesting. All right. An update from last week. This has been, now why am I putting this story up? This lady here is related to one JP Pitts, who I have a bit of a rivalry with. He had been posting about it, that she was went missing. And sadly, this story kind of went national, pretty much nationwide, and because she just mysteriously walked away from home in the middle of the night, went to Lake Michigan, and unfortunately, she was found deceased in the water of Lake Michigan, an apparent suicide. Best wishes to the Brown family, the Pitts family, and Farrago family. Tragic situation. I mean, if you need help, if you're depressed, you're having challenges in life, I mean, there are a number of outlets to seek help from, and you're encouraged to use those outlets. When you need help, seek it out. Don't keep it to yourself. If you think life is not worth living, it is. There is. You only get one. You only get one life to live, and pain is temporary. Pain is temporary. There are ways to. There are many people out there that are willing to step up to help you if you're feeling down or if you're in a crisis. Taking your life is not the answer. Anyway, best wishes to him. I'm going to. I hope I see JP Pitts up this weekend, but I'm not gonna do anything with the best of seven this weekend. And Crimeycade podcast is on Facebook, on Twitch, and Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, follow me on Facebook.com/Crimeycade. If you're watching this on Facebook, follow me at twitch.tv/rap_sheet. bit.ly/Crimeycade will also get you there. Past episodes are on YouTube at tiny.cc/PWCI. Yes, that was important for me to say this. That families. JP Pitts, I'm just letting him, giving him time to mourn. I can. Video game challenges can wait. All right. And I had to give my obligatory Beezer post. Yes, Beezer. I'm still getting roasted over that. Will Beezer reach the Galloping Ghost Arcade floor? We'll see. Time will tell. And this photo went viral over this week. Just up the block from where I work, I drove past this and like a police cruiser is up on a rail. How did this happen? Yeah, he rode the rail and he lost. Kind of an embarrassing situation for local law enforcement to and this was, yes, this is a driveway going into a church parking lot of all places. I don't know how this happened. I have no idea. But this photo went viral on 217 Problems, and yeah, this is quite amusing for people, but I used to work for law enforcement, but yeah, this poor officer, whatever happened, he's not gonna live this down. Not gonna live this down, hopefully. I won't know the story of what happens with this, but anyway. All right, our guest is not quite here yet. Not here yet. I may I'll reach out to him in a minute to make sure he's able to get over here. New house highs and world records, and gosh, I'm about to be joined by the real star of the show. Yeah, this goofball. Where's my news thing here? Yeah. Oh, that disappeared. No wonder it went away. Now I know what the problem is. I've been joined by the real star of the show. This guy. Cody, who crashes every podcast. Anyway. Yeah. He took a bite out of my hand and caused me to miss a gaming convention a couple months ago. Anyway. Well, looks like we will put off. He has just made it in. I'll just recap this real quick. Kevin Ghost Arcade new house highs. Sean Mackey has a new house high on the original Metal Slug, 1.6 million. John Liming. Well, John Liming came back to town. He has beaten both the new track and the padding track with a new 4.4 million score on Castlevania. Andrew Owusko also took the house highs on the Cowboys of Moon Mesa and Dungeons and Dragons Tower of Doom. Also, a man by the name of Justin Jones has a record on Jackal by Konami at 808,000, pretty much rescued all the hostages to achieve that score with a 1cc. All right, our guest tonight is one half of the Game Masters. In fact, I'm just going to play the opening to his podcast and to introduce him.
All right, guys, Merry Christmas. We're here for...
Welcome, Stephen Heywood, one half of the Game Masters, to the Crimeycade.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Well, you just finished up your pod.
I did.
I
was like,
some
time. I know
time.
that guy. When you played that, I was like, I know that guy.
I killed some time because I knew he was like, we all get long-winded and we can't stop talking.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get a good discussion going, sometimes it's a little difficult. But you know what? It's good to leave the fans and the viewers wanting more. So it's okay to cut it off like we did and continue it at a later date. And hopefully they're not sick of me and they came over here to show up. Apparently, I put one guy in the hospital. I mean, at least that's what they were trying to tell me. I don't know how much that.
Put a guy in the hospital.
Yeah, Daryl Best. He's one of the viewers, and he was in the hospital, and they were making a joke, being like, "Oh, you put him in the hospital."
I should hope not.
I would hope not. They said if you had to listen to me for 2 hours, I mean that is possible. I mean,
yeah. So you've been doing the pod. You've been doing content creation, not necessarily the Game Masters, because that's a more of a recent thing. You've been doing content creation for like 6 years now?
Oh, I've been doing content creation for almost 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah. So when I first started, that's why my live streams look the way they do. I started in the broadcast in tech world where I was doing, tech news. I was reviewing tech products, and then where internet broadcasting was still like a brand new thing in the early 2000s, where you had to jumble a lot of things together. There was no StreamYard. You had to figure out how to go live and, bring guests in and things like that, where we used to use Skype when Skype was a thing. And so I got my start, believe it or not, doing that. I did the YouTube thing once before. I had almost 100,000 subscribers when I was doing that, and wiped it all out. Started over when I got out of that, it got too saturated, and because I was doing it as a day job, it's kind of like the mechanic that does it as a day job. He doesn't want to work on his own car. That's kind of how I felt. Like I didn't want to cover it, since now I'm doing it as my day job. I felt like work never ended. So that got me into the home arcade space, where my kids got to relive some of I have like 30 arcade one-ups to my left as I'm pointing over this way. That I was able to get my kids involved in. And then so I started to create content around that. And then I kind of got bored in that space, because I mean, how many arcades can you physically put in a room, right? Until you run out of room.
Yeah,
So I
I know
filled
the
my room.
feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I filled my room up, which was cool, and it's still filled. And then I wanted to relive some of the systems that I didn't have as a kid, and I wanted, now that I've grown up money, I wanted to get that stuff. So that led me on to doing content here for uh, the console space, and that's when I started meeting some great creators like Brandy and some of the other ones that are out there, and just very welcoming and willing to hit it off. And Brandy was coming out of a bad situation with a podcast, and we started talking, and I was like, hey, like, not that you'd want to do a podcast with me because you just came out of that other situation, but you know, she's like, no, let's do it. She
I
was,
missed that when I talked to her last year.
oh
I
yeah,
didn't know she came out of a pod.
she did. She came out of a pod where being she was being used. We'll leave it. I'll let her tell the story, but if she feels up to it, but she was very badly mistreated and taken advantage of. And so when we started talking about the Game Masters, it was a 2-year process. Like we started talking about this 2 years ago. And then finally we just, we were trying to get everything perfect, and was like, we both were like, let's just start. We just got to start. And so that's when we did. And people have enjoyed it because it's not your typical gaming podcast, as you know from watching it. And I think that's our allure, right? It's the ability to talk about things that happen in the gaming space and not necessarily focusing on the games in every episode. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we've kind of built a reoccurring audience around that, where people want to come. Just like today, we were talking about resellers and things like that, and that's a hot topic in this space.
There's a bunch of hot topics lately.
Yes.
Resellers, one thing. Arcade one-ups, which apparently have met their demise,
Yes.
supposedly.
Yeah, they got I think the rights of theirs got bought out by another company that's doing another form of home arcade. I can't think of the name of them right
I
now.
don't know if Basic Fun actually bought them
Basic
out.
Fun. They bought the rights. So apparently, from the way I understood it and read it in the articles, that they bought the rights and for all the games that Arcade One Up had, the IPs and stuff, whatever, however that works.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also going to do the support for the legacy cabinets that Arcade One Up sold, like to guys like me and other people who have them. If they're still under warranty, you're going to be able to buy, like, if your board dies, you can buy a new board from them and replace it. At least that's the way I understood it from the articles.
Unless that gets modded with a 60-in-1 board, JAMA board, which there's some of that going on.
Very true. Very true. So I do a lot of that. Like 2 of my Arcade One-Ups, the Ridge Racer and the Star Wars, I have an Android box from Buy Stuff Store that has a lot of racing games on it. So a lot of people like to come down and play, Mario Kart 64 on a Ridge Racer cabinet, because you can use a steering wheel and stuff. So
right.
I still have my original boards, but I modded them so I could do that. I have an At Games machine that has like 20,000 games on it. Like,
yeah.
So no shortage of games here. That's for sure.
Now, do you have any original arcade games that are not an Arcade One-Up? I'm kind of a purist.
Yeah. So yeah, I know there's a lot of purists out there, and that was a lot of the hate that the Arcade One-Up community got. The only original I have is a slot machine it's an actual Vegas slot machine that I had purchased from a retired couple. They didn't know you could change the mech inside. They wanted to actually charge their friends when they come over to play it to use real quarters. This thing uses tokens. So they didn't realize that you could change the mech, and they're older and they're not going to do that. So they sold it to me for $75, but it's the real deal. It's got the real boards inside of it. It's got, but outside of that, if you've seen any of my room tours, because of the way my HVAC comes down, anybody over 6'2" kind of has to hunch over on that side of the room. And so Arcade One-Up machines are about, they're probably about 8 inches from the top of the HVAC. So, yeah, not necessarily that room. You'd have to fast forward and get to the
Yeah,
area where, but, um,
there we
yeah,
go.
see right there, you can see I'm my head's almost hitting the top at 6'2". I've had some guys down here at 6'7". They got to kind of hunch over.
Oh
So
boy.
for me, for real games, they really wouldn't fit in there, man. They, I mean, I no, let me rephrase that. They would fit in there. It'd be a tough time getting them down there and getting them situated. And at
Yeah.
least with the one-ups, I can work on them. I know how to fix them. I could throw a Raspberry Pi in them. I could throw an Android box, a PC.
Hmm.
Um, I could do all that stuff to it. Whereas, with real arcades, trying to find a board, you might spend as much as an arcade one-up to get a board because they're hard to find. $200-$300. So
Right.
I nothing against purists. If I could, I would do it. But for me, nobody's ever come over and said, this is not the real arcade. Um, this is, there's delay on this so for me, it works, that we have a good time with it. We have a lot of fun with it. And, I'm not doing content on it anymore.
Right. And I have my arcade in it. They used to be in the basement. However, getting them up and down the stairs is dangerous and they're
Oh
heavy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I had a new garage built with the room on the back. So the arcade games came out of the basement and they went into the back of the garage in its own room that's insulated and has its own heating cooling unit.
Okay.
I do have some arcade one-ups, but they're table toppers
Oh, nice. Okay.
that I can just pick up and move around, and then a couple of multicades that were built. I have a cocktail table arcade game that I have not been able to work on due to time issues. And I'm not a person who is good with a soldering iron. I don't know if I could ever. Someone would have to teach me how to put a cap kit on a monitor.
Well,
Good grief.
and so you bring up a good point. That's one of the reasons with getting into the arcade space, the real arcade space, if you will.
Mhm.
I just don't have the knowledge, the time, or the patience to do it. Like I would love to own a original Pac-Man. I get it, emulation. When you play the original thing, and I can see the difference when I play Pac-Man on a real system versus an emulated system. But to these kids, like my daughter, my son's friends, when they come over, they see it as I got arcades down here. They don't sit there and go like, "Oh, you got
Yeah.
these cheap $300 arcade one-ups." They go, "You got arcades," and they think it's the coolest thing in the world that they can play something with buttons and sticks because they didn't
Right.
grow up with it like you and I did, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, no, man, there was a couple times I almost bought WrestleMania the arcade game, the actual arcade. They had it for $800, and I thought the
Mhm.
condition that they had it in was a little, it wasn't the
Rough.
original art. Yeah, it wasn't the original artwork. A lot of scuffs, like it looked like it was water damaged on the bottom. And
Yeah.
I offered them $400. I was like, if you want, I'll give you 400 for it, but that's about it. Who knows what else was wrong with it? And they wouldn't bite. So um, later on, they came back when it didn't sell after like 6 months. They were like, we'll do $500, and I just wasn't interested at the time. Then I was like, nah, it's cool. I'll pass. So, and you can see the stairwell that I got to get it down to go to the basement. You know,
Yeah.
it would be challenging to get that stuff down there. So, my wife actually let me decorate the whole stairwell to go down as you're showing here. Like people always like to see. Somebody actually drew those at my wife's school for me, put on the wall.
Those 4-player cabinets, I assume that was a 4-player cabinet. You'd have to take the control panel off to even get the cabinet down there.
Oh, absolutely. There's probably a lot. I probably have to take the doors, the railings off to get just to get the cabinet in the house, and then
Yeah.
I don't know how many guys here are into firearms. I don't know if we could say that on your channel here, but
No, you can say it. I mean, we're not
okay.
shooting any guns off.
No. But I bought one of those. I bought one of those 50 gun safes that are like 500 pounds or, like really big one. Okay. Like you could fit a couple kids inside. That's how big it is. Right. So
Right.
trying to get that thing in the house, I can't imagine getting an arcade in the house. Like, cause they're about the same size. Actually, two arcades side by side is probably about the same size as what the safe is. Cause we use it for not just firearms, but we use it for like important papers and documents, things like that.
Right.
Um,
Gun safe.
but yeah, but getting it in the house, like I don't have one of those walk out basements that most people have that you can get it in. I think that would be an easier way to do it.
Yeah.
We had a hard enough time getting some of those kiosks down here. They were fun trying to get down the stairs, let me tell you.
And you have the low ceiling in the
The
basement.
low ceiling is, because you almost have to lay it flat, kind of.
Mhm.
One person's breaking their back and kind of making sure it's not bumping all the way down. So, but yeah, man, I've only been collecting console stuff since late 2018. I started collect, maybe early 2019 it was, because we moved in 2018. So probably 2019 I started collecting console stuff. So I built my collection in that short amount of time, almost 7-8 years of doing this. So anybody out there who doesn't think you can build a collection in 8 years, you can.
Well, my collection has pretty much been going since, I don't know, 1980.
But you said you didn't have room, though. That's a big difference, though.
I didn't have room. Well, okay. I don't have room for everything. I'm trying to downsize some. I do have room, but I want to not get it so daggum cluttered that, because my basement's pretty cluttered right now, getting the arcade games out of that basement helped a lot.
Yeah.
But now the game room in the back of the garage is cluttered. Like, ugh!
Well, you see, I pretty much took over the whole basement. Like, we still have our laundry room. We still have, where I have the water purifiers and stuff in the other room. And, but my wife was like, yeah, it's the basement. You can do whatever you want. And so I took over that back room for the consoles, and then I still have the arcades and my studio where you normally see us do Game Masters.
Yeah.
Is to my right. I have the big setup, which you see in the video.
There we go.
You see in the video as you're showing it there on the screen. So, but this is basically my console, my console room area. So, well, but I work down here too. I work from home, and I work with tech and broadcasting and with marketing and stuff. So this I had to do. So there's a story behind this.
Mm-hmm.
The TV in the bathroom. A lot of people are like, why would you? That's got to be the most unsanitary thing you could possibly do, is put a video game system in a bathroom. And you're right. This was the Act Games Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My brother-in-law came over the one time, and he's like, you know how cool it would be? He's like, if our wives would let us put a TV in the bathroom. He's like, that would be so awesome. So the next time he came over, I had a TV in the bathroom, because my wife already said I could do whatever I want. And that was an extra studio TV that I had for a monitor. So I put it up in there, just so it was more of like to rub it in my brother-in-law's face. And he was laughing because I literally put up a TV in the bathroom.
Right.
So yeah, that's the main reason why nobody plays it. It runs like in kiosk mode when people come over, kind of like everything else does. Unless somebody's playing it. So, but yeah.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
So you have to get out of here by 10 o'clock.
Oh, well, we'll see where we're going.
Well,
we got some time, because I was late showing up. I was trying to get things situated.
What was the original hook when you got into gaming?
When I was younger or now?
Younger. Like, you always remember, what was the very first video game you ever touched that got you hooked into playing them? For me, it's Space Invaders.
Okay.
At 8 years old.
Wow.
8 or 9 at a bowling alley. Kind of like the same thing with Richie Knuckles last week.
Oh, yeah. Richie's a great guy. I've been friends with him for a bit. And so I was listening to some of that too with you guys. I actually have he sent me an autographed DVD that's over there on my shelf and such. But no, that got me.
Clicked the wrong thing just now. I just tried to take down that video for a second. So
okay, yeah.
Back on screen. Yeah, you so what was your hook?
So it was, believe it or not, it was a game called Frog Bog, if you remember, for the Intellivision.
Really?
Yeah, because when I was growing up, my dad, and I still have it to this day, it's in the other room. I have my dad and my mom bought an Atari 2600 and they bought an Intellivision. I was only like 6 or 7 years old. And I liked, for whatever stupid reason, I liked the Intellivision controller because you could slide the little plastic things over top of it. And I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And Frog Bog was like, you just sit there and eat the flies, or you could, like, if you jumped from one lily pad to the other and you missed and you went into the water. I don't know. At that age, I just thought it was cool, I guess. And then I played Donkey Kong on there, but Frog Bog, for whatever reason, was like my go-to game on that. And then I went to a boys' brigade. It was like kind of like a scouts type thing for boys or whatever when I was growing up. And they had Mario Brothers. The first time I ever seen Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I was like, I want that. That is awesome. And we got the Power Pad set for the NES for Christmas that year. My brother, my sister, and I, that was like our big gift from our parents. And to this day, like, that was one of the things I had to get in my collection. It's not the same one I had as a kid, but it's still complete in box. Like, I have it. That's never leaving my collection. There's a lot of memories and nostalgia with that. Yeah, I had to get it. So I guess you could kind of say, like, the real capture point was probably Mario Brothers. I mean, Frog Bog was okay, but it wasn't like I lived and breathed video games after that with Mario Brothers and Nintendo.
Now throw this up on the screen. Yeah. How good are you on playing these games?
It depends. So, like, I am very good. So a lot of people got the misconception, like, you've got to be, so not this Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers, the original. I know this is the original Mario Brothers, but
Oh,
the
okay.
Super Mario Brothers, when they, when they first came out, people always think the YouTubers, we don't play video games. We just show them, and we just so I still play Nintendo stuff to this day. And I could probably still beat Mario Brothers probably in under 10 minutes. The original Super Mario Brothers,
yeah.
using warps and everything like that, like everybody else does. I don't do speed play or anything but I can still do that. I can still beat Kung Fu, the original Kung Fu. I can still beat that with one guy, go through and beat Dr. X. I used to be able to beat it in all three. So after you beat Dr. X, then you start over and it gets harder. I used to be able to flip it 3 times before I would die. So I was pretty good at that. Believe it or not, people were not good at Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That's one of the games that, like, I could get almost to the last level on without dying on Super Ghouls, and that's a very hard game.
Yeah.
So as far as, like, on the arcade 1-up for the Star Wars, the original Vector, I think it's the Return of the Jedi, I think it is. Or maybe it's no.
Return of the Jedi was not a Vector game.
Which one was the Vector one?
Star Wars and then Empire Strikes Back.
Okay. The one where you got the lasso, the AT-AT.
So that would be Empire.
That I have 100,000 points on it that nobody's been able to beat on that game, just using the
without warping.
Without warping. That's playing it on the arcade 1-up from level 1. Complete playing. Some of the other games, like, I've gone through, I've beaten, like, TurboGrafx, because I didn't have it as a kid. When I got adult money, I bought TurboGrafx. I got the Turbo Express, got it recapped, LCD screen, went through all the Bonk games, played all them through. Even to this day, like, we'll play, like, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, I could still beat those games. I was showing my kids, they thought it was funny. So there's different games. I was not an RPG fan, so Xanadu and Zelda were as close as I came to any kind of RPGs, if you will. And some people were like, they're not RPGs. But
kind of action RPGs to an extent.
Yeah, I'm just not an RPG. Like I've never played Final Fantasy. I have zero interest in playing it. I'm just not a fan of I just don't have the time. It's not that I don't like the games. I just well, hello. I'm just not a fan of I just don't have the time to play it.
Right.
So you have adult money, but you don't have kid time. You need kid time to be able to play this stuff.
Or retiree time.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Although I'm at the point in life, it's like I had Skyward Sword.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Or wherever the game was for the Wii, and never got to go play it because of how many. It's like takes weeks or months to play through it, and I'm kind of want to get every item and heart piece, and it's like I have 6 months. So at this point, I'm going up to Galloping Ghost Arcade to binge play for the weekend.
Oh, you're going up this weekend?
Yes. I've got scores to take back. I have challenge cards to complete. That's pretty much the only time when I can really play. It's difficult for me to practice the game at home because I'm still messing with busy at home, dealing with wrestling crap, and you have some of that in your background as well. Graphics work and who knows what else. Promoting some of that.
But that's how it always is, right? Like so. Like I was talking to you earlier, like I have other hobbies besides video games. Like video games are not my people come over and like you were showing my tour of my game room and everything like that. People come over and they're like, "Oh, you're one of them basement dwellers. All you do is sit and play video games." And I'm like, surprise, I don't have a lot of time to play. Like we do a game night just about every Saturday night where we have some friends come over. That's when I get to play. I'm big into Fortnite, and I know it's probably going to shatter a lot of guys here, but my kids got me into that when I was playing with them. Really love playing Fortnite. I play that with my kids, but I also play it with other friends, and I've gotten pretty decent at it. My brother plays it, so it's a great way to do that. But Saturday night, man, like we'll grab bowling on the act games, and we'll play pro bowlers, and we'll try to like beat each other's score. We'll do that. We'll do pinball on the act games pinball. We'll bust out. My kids love pulling out World Class Track Meet on the Power Pad on the NES and Super Team games and playing that. And it's funny to see them huffing and puffing over there. Because if you remember Super Team games running on the Power Pad, it was a long game. Like it was a long match that you had to do.
Right.
Like we'll bust some of that stuff out. The old duck hunt, because I have a CRT, because they don't realize I even hooked up Rob to let them see how, like, I always wanted this as a kid. They're like sitting there watching how slow he is. And they're like, why did you want that? Or like the power glove. I think everybody wanted a power glove. And then now that you're older and if you got your hands on one or you bought one, you're just like, now I know why mom and dad said no, because it's not worth the money.
You did like a countdown of the worst controllers ever.
Yes. Yeah. Because you threw that in. You threw some in there as well.
Yes. Content creation. I guess I'm jumping around since
that's okay. Well,
we only have so much time.
No, we're free falling. Let's go. It's all good.
You carry around. Well, actually, let's go further back.
Okay.
You did have challenges because you were wanting to expand. And there were some things that were holding you back a little bit. And I kind of discovered today that you're a previous guest on Dr. Pimple Popper.
Dr. Pimple Popper. Yeah, I was. I forget what season was it. I think I showed it on the video.
During COVID, I know that much.
It was during COVID. I think they contacted me shortly before COVID. It was 2019, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for the last up until COVID. So I don't want to say the last because we're 6 years out of COVID. Um,
Yeah, and I got to rant about that in a couple of months again because I rant about every year now.
well, that's
I'm that mad about it.
so before that, from 2020 back probably 15 years, I developed a problem. It was called rhinophyma. And what that
Yeah.
is an enlargement of the nose. Some of you guys, if you go back and watch some of my old YouTube videos back from 2018, 2017, and you'll see that like I had this large growth on my nose, and my skin was all infected and inflamed, and um, rosacea was really, I don't want to say it was infecting my body, but it was. And I tried dermatologist after dermatologist, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. They didn't know how to fix
Mhm.
it, and I'd pretty much given up. So one day I was going through, and they said Doctor Pimple Popper was looking for volunteers for the show, and I'm like, man, if I could get on there, and I was like, if anybody could fix me, she could fix me. And I'm just some guy here, and at the time I was in we just moved over here to Eastern Ohio, and I'm like, I'm just some guy, So I wrote in, I literally, no lie, I still have the write up. I wrote, I said, I do a lot of content creation. I have a live broadcast that I do on tech and gaming and everything like that. So I'm on camera all the time. I have rhinophyma and I need help. That's all I sent to them. I didn't go
Mhm.
into the SAB story or anything like that. And they ask you for a picture, so I did a side view and a front view.
Mhm.
And then I got contacted by the producer. This was like, oh my goodness, this was probably like a month later, because I was thinking, and I didn't say nothing to my wife that I even applied for it.
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing to my wife until I got a phone call, and the producer's like, "We really like you, but we have to see, because again, it's a TV show, so they want to make
Right.
sure that you're entertaining. You're not some Stanley Willard where you're like, dry eyes works for me, like that type of thing."
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Well, I need to interview you, and you can bring your support person if you're married. You can bring your spouse, and we're just going to ask you some questions." So we did it, and I recorded. I had the whole thing recorded. We did it over Skype, and he started asking me some questions, and then he said, "So when did the nose thing happen?" And then he mutes himself, and I said, "Well," I looked at my wife. I said, "Probably right when we first started getting married. Right after we got married, it started, progressively getting worse." And she's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, one day she was making some kind of stew, and we were just married. We didn't have a lot of money, and she gave it to me for dinner and asked me what I thought about it." And I said, "Well, do you really want me to answer this?" And she said, "Yeah." And meanwhile, my wife's sitting next to me as I'm telling this story, and just kind of like, what's he doing? Like, where's he going with this? And I told my wife, I said, that has to be the worst stew I have ever had in my life. Now she's kind of like looking at me side eyed, like, that never like, what are you talking about? And I said, all I remember is my wife wound up and just gave me this right hook. And I said, ever since then, my nose just kept getting bigger and bigger. The interviewer guy on the other end almost fell off the chair laughing so hard, okay, that my wife turns and she looks at me. She goes, "That never happened. I never did that. Like, what are you talking about?" And the producer's like dying. He's almost like, literally, he was like on the floor laughing. He was laughing so hard because I said it with a straight face, and that's what sold it. That's how I ended up like getting them to like me, and they said I was entertaining. Um, the family was, and it was all just kind of being myself and telling a little bit of a story. And then afterwards, I was like, no, that's not really what happened. I was like, it just, having acne when you're a teenager and it got out of hand and nobody knew how to fix it.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was one of the big things where I felt like it changed my life, because people were so focused on that. Like, I had this problem, and this goes for anybody that has any kind of front facing problem, whether you have a lisp or you stutter, or you think your voice sounds bad. Like, I knew a broadcaster who sounded like Mickey Mouse, but he was a really good broadcaster. Um, don't let that define you. Don't let that. That's what I want people to get out of my story with that is, don't let that handicap, if you will, define
Right.
you. You will define yourself. And if you can empower yourself and build through that, and you surround yourself with people that'll support you like I did, I almost made it like the problem didn't exist. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't see that when I looked in the mirror, and that was the only way I could get around it. Now when I look back at the pictures, like, it's kinda scary, dude, because I'm like, I can't believe it was that bad. Like, I let it get that bad.
And now it's, like, looking great
Oh,
now.
it's normal now, like, I don't have the redness, and for the record, I was on medication after the surgery. They had me on medication for almost 4 years. I just got off the medication last year
Mhm.
that, they gradually dropped it, but it was akin to having, it's potent like you would, the cancer drug
Yeah.
that they give you, but it attacks your face, and they said once it kills it, like, it ain't coming back. So, I still have to be careful, because there is a possibility that they said, if you start seeing flare-ups, get to a dermatologist so you can, but fortunately, I've been good. I haven't had a problem, but my kids, because it's in the genes now,
Mhm.
we're very careful with the kids. Like, anytime we see a flare up with them, we get them to the dermatologist because I don't want them to have to go through what I went through. If you watch the episode, that was a struggle for me,
Yeah.
to have to, you know, tell your kids like, you were made this way, and then all of a sudden, it's like here I am trying to fix the problem. But I also I had to come to terms that I let myself get that bad. Right. Like, I should have tried other measures. I mean, we all do it, right? We all get problems if we get a lump on our body or something like that. I've seen
Yeah.
like the one guy that was in my episode, um, he had like some kind of lump up here and then it ruptured when he was there to have the surgery. And he actually he had to get it stitched up and everything. And he's lucky it didn't become infected and lose his arm over it. But
Yeah, there's a rupture and it's like internal bleeding and all that crap.
yeah, and so it's hard when you're on camera. People always make the joke like, "Oh, I got the face for radio." Not just me, but everybody will say that. Like, "Hey, I got the face for radio." Like, I
Voice
literally
for
had the face
print.
for radio.
Yeah. Face for radio, voice for print.
And so I just powered through it. I for all those years I powered through it and I just did it. And yeah, I got a lot of hate for it. I got a lot of trolling. I mean, you name it, I got it. And so there were times it made me want to quit. And there were times like I knew I couldn't quit because if I quit, it means they won. And there's one thing that you could do. Like if I'm walking down the hall and you and I are walking together and we're at a convention and I trip and fall because of my own clumsiness, it's okay for you to like, look at a clumsy klutz. But when you make fun of somebody because of their weight or because they have a disability or they can't speak like you can speak or they have skin problems or whatever, things that they can't help,
Yeah.
that's when I have a problem with it. Like you can't make fun of people of something that they can't control.
Yeah.
That's just not right. Like if it's something that they can control in the sense of, like I said, tripping and falling,
Yeah.
um, that's one thing. But you joking around and somebody screws up, like Brandy will joke with me about being old and stuff like that. That's fine. But if you can't if you can't control it because you've been dealt a bad hand in life,
Yeah.
people got to look past that. I feel like that's high school stuff when you start going down that road. Like, I don't look at people like that. I look at people as the way I want to be treated, and
Mhm.
that's how I treat people. Like,
Right.
I don't focus on the disability, right?
Trying to make sure my cat doesn't try to take a
Oh,
bite
okay.
of
I didn't know
me
if you were looking for
because
something.
he was on my lap.
I saw him.
He
I
tends
saw him.
to bite, and I've had behavior issues with him, which caused me to miss
Well,
a convention.
so as a follow up to that,
Mhm.
I did a show called Creators Corner where I was doing one-on-one interviews like you're kind of doing now
Yeah.
with different creators. I actually had Dr. Pimple Popper on there as a follow-up. That's also on my channel where
Mhm.
we got into things like this. Like, how do you deal with haters and what made you want to get into social media and how you blew up your brand and stuff. So if you're looking for stuff like that, that's a good episode to watch. We don't just talk about my surgery. It's more focused on how she blew up as a dermatologist on live video and social media, and what she went through, the steps that
Yeah.
she went through. So that's a good follow-up interview that I did. Oh man, I want to say a couple years ago.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, it
So
was a number of years ago. I gotta share your link, by the way. Just, but anyway.
but yeah, there's Brandy. Yeah, cruel nonetheless. No, I know she's only joking. Like we go back and forth, but I see the cruel comments that get left on hers, and it's not right. And like, so a lot of people, they become keyboard warriors. It's like, really, you have no better, and content creators, they don't realize like a view is a view, right?
Mhm.
But being a content creator is not easy. You know that yourself.
Yes, did a wrestling show on public access for like how many years? 15.
And now you're transitioning to the internet. So now you got to deal with, you pretty much do an interview show, right? You're doing a podcast, but you have an interview show.
I filled a void. I've been waiting to basically get on other podcasts and talk gaming or whatever was bugging me in the gaming world. It's like I had gotten out of the wrestling. I produced a weekly wrestling show covering Central Illinois wrestling. Something bad went down 3 years ago now, which I'll be ranting about that next month because everything surrounding that just kind of collapsed like a house of cards.
Mhm.
Specifically, I think the final nail in the coffin was at the Supreme Court this week. To that AstroTurf. So it was a year I was like trying to recover mentally from all drama surrounding that. Gamers weren't getting their due. There's a lot of gamers out there.
Yeah.
That aren't getting the attention they deserve. I started with basically interviewing my peers at Galloping Ghost Arcade. Now that well's kind of dried up. I went through all the people that I knew personally or met, and then I kind of had to go out a little bit and talk to people who maybe people that I met at conventions, or just pop into my feed that I just kind of pay attention to. Obviously, Brandy got on my radar because I think she's the female version of me. She's a police officer.
Okay. Okay.
I used to work for state police. I don't currently because I had to take a promotion because I like put the laptops in the troopers' cars.
Okay.
That they used, which that photo I posted earlier about that squad car getting stuck on the rails somehow. I mean, a lot of people were commenting that, okay, he was paying attention to whatever he was doing on his laptop and not the driveway in front of him, because it was a driveway, not actually the highway.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he ran up the rail somehow, which
it happens.
I don't know how. I probably won't ever know unless somehow he comes on 217 Problems and then tells his story, but I kind of doubt it.
I like Brandy in the sense of she's not afraid to go out there and like go for her dreams and her goals. Like, I bust her chops all the time. I'm like, you got to stop, man. Like, you're getting too much. But you always see these guys. You always see the guys playing video games and stuff, and she's a female in the video game space. And I think that in itself is a testament, because growing up, and I know things have changed now, and I'm probably gonna ruffle some feathers, but like growing up, you always were taught, or like not necessarily taught, but girls were always looked down upon, right? Like the
Yeah.
guy was always the stronger sex out of the two, and like they in school they always made it seem like, well, girls weren't as good at this as guys, and it's just society, right? And
I thought
so
it was more of a girl's interest wasn't necessarily
that
towards
too, like
tech.
they weren't really into the video games as much as like the guys and stuff. And so
Yeah.
to see her like she has the best game room. Like, we all have game rooms that we're proud of. I mean, I'm proud of my game room, but like literally, like I brag on her game room. Like I'll sit there and be like to family because they'll be like, "Oh, your game room is like awesome." Like my game room is nothing compared to what she has, and it's not like an envious jealousy response. It's a
Oh,
like,
yours is pretty extensive, just about as
well,
rivals her
no, my
to some
gosh, dude,
extent.
I probably have 1/8 of what she has, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but I think with what we're doing, and that's kind of why we kept the podcast small. We kept it small as far as not like you see a lot of podcasts, they got like 4 or 5 people on it. We kept
Yeah.
it just me and her, and so you get a male's point of view, but then you also get a female's point of view. And I think it's very well rounded where we can kind of we can feed off of each other, we can play off of each other's strengths, and like really bring something together. And I've enjoyed working with her. Like out of all the podcasts I've done, there's times where like I'm like, Brandy, I'm over this. Like and she's like, no, we got to keep going. We got to like, where other podcasts they'd be like, all right, well, let's just quit. Let's just be done. Where she'll motivate me, like even in the space. And I think when you partner with somebody to do a podcast or a show or anything, if you're both not in it 100%, it's not going to work. It's
Yeah.
just not. So it's good to have that motivation with each other to kind of help push you. And because let's face it, like with the wrestling, there's times where you don't even want to talk about it, you don't want to see it, you don't even want to hear it. And
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there with the space. The space can be draining. I was like that with the home arcade space, and the home arcade space really tainted me because I feel like there's a lot of disingenuous people in that
Mhm.
space. There's a lot of grifters in that
Yeah.
space. I feel like there's a lot of lying to get free product in that space
Yeah.
that I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to even be associated with.
Hmm.
And like Brandy's saying here, you have to have fun with it. I 100% agree. And I wasn't having fun with it. I mean, honestly, dude, I got to the point where I wanted to sell my one-ups, not because I wasn't enjoying them, because every time I looked at them, it reminded me of the nonsense that I saw and knew in that space that I couldn't believe was being fed to the public
Hmm.
from the companies and from other YouTubers. Like I couldn't believe people were that cynical. And I had to get out of it. I had to get in, and I didn't do content um Mr. Right Way. I went on his show for almost a year. I
Hmm.
didn't want to produce a show. He invited me on just to kind of give me a platform, like just to talk and chat and have a good time. And I'd get on with the boys and just have some fun until I was ready to do my own thing. And meanwhile, I was talking with Brandy about doing a show, but I disconnected myself from the community to let them forget about me a little bit,
Hmm.
to fix myself, because there's stuff that went on that, man, if the public knew, it's bad. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's bad.
There is drama in gaming. I'll give you that.
Oh, and yeah, there is going to be, right.
That's why I cut. But a lot of stuff, the wrestling stuff, kind of rubbed into the, kind of just crossed over into gaming, which is like I have championship belts. They're gamer
I did
belts,
too.
of
I sold
course.
them too. Yeah.
Gamer belts, cut promos on other gamers. Yeah, there's famous gamers. Billy Mitchell has the pro wrestling persona about him. There are gamers that are former wrestlers in base. I had somebody who is an active wrestler, but is also a gamer, so he carries around the Midwest Gaming Classic Championship belt. It's like, I'm trying to get out of the wrestling stuff and the game, and it's falling me into the gaming space.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be a way to get rid of it completely, but that's one thing I could say, and speaking for Brandy and I, that's one thing we focus on with our show is to keep it positive, right? We
Yeah.
want to focus, just like today, like we were kind of going down a really tight line of reseller scumbags, because there's a lot of guys in the community that feel a certain way toward other resellers that are YouTubers.
Yeah.
And they want to call them out. They want to throw it out because they want to see what Brandy or I think about. We're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about other people. One, that we don't know. And I know she's met some of these people. I haven't. So I'm not going to make a judgment call off of somebody that I haven't met.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also, I don't know their business model. I don't know their business plan. I'm going off a hearsay.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I go off of what I see and how I view that person and what that person has done to me. And I make my judgment off of that. Just like you, they could sit there and say, oh, you're going on that Crimeycade podcast. You know, that guy's this, that. And then you know what I would say to them? He never did nothing to me.
Yeah.
And anything I've ever seen of him, nobody's ever said was negative. So you must have had a personal problem with him. So
Let's put it this way.
Nobody said that. I'm just
never win popularity contests.
But you know what I'm saying? How people will do that. And so my mentality is just like the judicial system. You're innocent until proven guilty, right? So
right.
I try to look at the best, and sometimes it bites me. I try to look for the best in everybody until it bites me, and then I'm done with you. You'll get blocked. I won't ever have a conversation with you. And like Brandy saying in the chat room, too much drama. I don't want the drama. I don't need the drama. I don't want it. And we don't want it on the show. So people are free to say whatever they want about whoever they want, but that doesn't mean we're going to pull it up and focus it. And because we don't want that to be the focus. We want the topic at hand to be the focus.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Case in point, the whole Billy Mitchell, Twin
yeah.
Galaxies, Carl Jose. I didn't in on any of that. I just stood to the side and watched the fireworks until it got to a conclusion. And was I surprised by a conclusion? To some extent, yes, I was. Is he a saint? No. Do I hate him? No. I get along with him just fine. I appreciate him for who he is and come to understand what kind of a person he is, because coming off and that the wrestling industry playing a part of that. There are faces, there are heels in gaming, just like the wrestling business. And if you look at it through that lens, you kind of get along just fine.
Well, you had brought up, I think you brought up in our show, the Rexer show, you brought him up. And the
Rexer show, yeah, I got into it with him a little bit this week because he was complaining about other YouTubers. And it's like my point was, he did this episode because they were focusing too much on the negative or DEI. My point is, I want gaming as an escape from the real world.
Yes.
I do not want the real world and political crap injected into my gaming. I don't want to spend, and it's like now, some cases we're spending $80 to $100 for a title on a console.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm getting. Plus, because physical media is being pushed aside for digital downloads, you buy one of these games, you get blindsided by unwanted political content or very controversial political content. You can't take it back for a refund. You can't resell it. they got your money. You can't recoup any of it because
But
it was a digital download.
You got to remember though, with Rexer, his style of content is a shtick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, do I think the stories that he's telling about some of these creators are true? Absolutely. Like I've known Rexer for a while, and he's always been straight up, and he's called out a lot of people. And I'm not saying what he was saying to you. I don't know what went on there. But I know there's a lot of stuff. What do they call those people? Like the shock jocks, like Howard Stern. I look at Rexer like a Howard Stern. There's only so much, and it's nothing against Rexer. He's good at what he does.
And I don't know him that well.
There's only so much I can watch with that because, like Brandy saying, and like you said, gaming is an escape from the real world. Like when I want to just kind of unplug from everything, all the worries, or maybe I had a stressful week at work, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I like to do is play games with my family and my kids, and or like I said, we have other hobbies. We go hunting, we go fishing, we go. So I don't want it to be political. That was the whole reason I stopped watching NFL football as much as I used to, because they brought politics into it. It's like, I want to watch football to watch the game, right? Like, I don't like, not that these other situations aren't important. Don't get me wrong, but there's a time and a place. It's kind of like what your parents used to say. There's a time and a place for everything. This is not the time, nor is the place. And so that's kind of how I feel like with what you're saying with gaming. This is our escape. That there's no place for all that stuff. So I just don't.
Part of the reason that is part of the reason why the gaming industry is having issues right now. They're talking about we're in the middle of a video game crash, and
are we though?
Because
from my standpoint,
titles fail or lose big bucks. Concord is kind of the poster child of that.
But that could be economy, though. But
no.
But if the crash was coming, prices are going up on everything.
Yes, but how much money are they investing to develop the game? This was like pushing like $500 million, for which I think is insane. And then we have this, gosh, what was that one game that was sweeping all the gaming awards that got 13 of the awards?
What was it?
It's an independent title, and now I'm gonna have to look it up.
I forget what it was.
It started with a C. I know that.
But you also know that, like, a lot of the prices going up for consoles is because of the memory and the AI with
that's
the graphics
part of it, yeah.
Stuff, but it's all an excuse just to raise prices. That's how people do it. Like, they're never going to bring them back down.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33 was the
Expedition 33, yeah. I don't think we're headed toward a crash. I would love for us to head toward a crash, because that means all the game systems and stuff that we have, we'd be able to get them cheaper. I'd be able to go out and get a Neo Geo probably for $100. But I don't know, man.
Considered retro though.
Neo Geo is considered retro, yeah.
But yeah, these memory chips.
Oh man, you got gold in your hand there, my friend.
Well, one of these two is defective. I gotta send it in for a warranty replacement. It's like my web browser was crashing repeatedly. What is going on? And I pulled the chips out. Well, I ran a memory diagnostic, and then it failed. So I ended up pulling the chips out. So I got 32 gig in there in my machine. Thank goodness the ones out recently don't have a problem. But these are the original.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you have any deoxit spray? I would spray some deoxit. Sometimes the RAM, it can get some acid in it. So if you spray deoxit, like I use it on all my electronics, and I use it for Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, N64. You spray it on there, let it sit for like 10 seconds. When you put it in the system, there's no more blowing or anything. It just fires right up. And I've used it on RAM.
Well, this is less than 2 years old, and I never like pulled it out of the slot
It
of the
still
computer.
can get it. It still can get it just from sitting inside, moisture in your house. I mean, it seriously, like,
Weird.
if you already got an RMA, but I'm saying, like, in future, before you call for a replace, pull it out, get some of that deoxit spray. It's cheap. It's like $7 on Amazon. I
Yeah,
use it
not
on
even.
all my electronics, graphics cards, you name it. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised things that supposedly won't work, and they start working. Like, I've used it. Famicom systems
Yeah.
are notorious for not reading games because they're so old. Spray some of that deoxit on the
Yeah.
cartridge, wait a few seconds, throw it in there, boom, it fires right up.
I didn't even notice any deterioration edges, but I still don't. It's like that's 2 years old. It's like,
Your audio is getting a little on the crackly side, so I don't know if it's
that's. I hope the batteries. This is a rechargeable set, so I hope
okay.
it's not running out
maybe
of
it's just
juice.
no, maybe it's a certain way you move and maybe the wireless wasn't picking up.
Dude.
But you sound all right now, so I don't know.
Well, I had to, as I said earlier at the beginning, I had to run a cord from this room all the way to the router to stop the wireless from dropping on me.
Yeah, that's broadcasting, like, and even your microphone, I would consider hardwiring it so you don't run into problems with it. Like mine, I always use everything's
Yeah.
hardwired. Brandy knows about that. I went through that with her.
Yeah, and your setup is like you told me it was $100,000 tied up into this.
That's my remote setup. You don't want to know what my normal. So this is so you can't see it off screen, okay?
Right.
But I'll show you here. This is what you see if you came down here and you look straight on. Like if you wanted to watch the show,
Put this full screen.
if you wanted to see the show and you're in my game room, the TVs on the front of the bar are what goes out to the internet. And then I have actual monitors that hang. I'll cut to it here real quick. I have actual TVs here that hang from the ceiling and everything that I could see preview program. I could sit there and switch video sources. I've got cameras. I probably got about 20 cameras down here. And then a call-in system that hangs on the wall there that you can kind of see in the video. But that
is insane. That's a lot for
what
me.
You're seeing there is what I use every week when we produce the show, Game Masters. And so a lot of what I did in the broadcast world, I brought over here. So we could have that, in this space. And, I told Brandy that was one of the things we want to do, go big or go home. And so don't get me wrong. Like you guys are sitting there, you like, don't think you have to go out and do that, for a podcast. I had that stuff from being in the broadcast space.
Yeah.
Had I started when, say, you did, when they had StreamYard net, maybe I would have been using that. But you got to remember, my occupation is in broadcasting. I have tons of equipment laying around. That setup there, just the rack alone, is probably $300,000 just in that rack that's over there. I make the joke often that my equipment's worth more than my house, and I say that jokingly, but I'm half serious. Like I'll go back to this picture. You can see the rack in the left corner that's hanging up. That's that big rack that's there.
Yeah.
Each one of those machines that are in there, the top one is just to put it in an example. The top one there in that rack is about $10,000 just for that PC, the broadcast PC. The one that I use with the control board is like a $35,000 to $40,000 machine, and then the control board that I switch with is about $10,000.
I should ask you if you do DJ work.
I used to DJ. I did have a whole DJ setup. That's where I DJ'd, I want to say like 10 years ago. I used to DJ. I had a Newmark mixed deck quad I used. But yeah, I just I got heavily involved in broadcasting, and that was one thing I said to Brandy. That's why we always joke. The cameras that I use, I used to work for the company that made them, and so I got one of the cameras and I sent it to her, and she just left it. She just left it sit for 8 months, and I'm like, "How many times did you go in there and you saw her quality?" It was like, ugh. And we kept saying, "Brandy, hook it up. So finally she hooked it up, and now she looks marvelous. She looks fantastic on the show. So,
well, the camera I'm using is like, I bought that for $8 at a one of those treasure hunter stores.
okay.
Ditto with this headset.
Well, so
the computer is like almost $2,000.
Yeah. Computers are going to be astronomical anymore.
That was 3 years ago.
But see, there's a lot of people that do these broadcasts and stuff, and they do green screens and stuff, and it just looks trashy. They just don't know how to do it right or whatever. So I'm not really sitting in my game room.
Yeah.
So I'm literally sitting in front of a green screen right now. I'll take the magic out of it.
Well, I can truth be told, I can I can change my background to
if
this
I go
right now.
If I go like this, now you can see like I'm sitting in front of
Whoops. I gotta turn this off. There you go. There. Now I see it.
Oops, there we go.
Yeah, it's just a dark background. And
it's green. It's green. It's just because I have a Chromeycade out, so
right,
it's black. But I can put it back, and then there's my background. So I do that because of sitting. So where I do the broadcast for Game Masters, I sit in front of. It's hard for me to get on like StreamYard because of the way my setup is. It's just easier to come over here and sit here in front of a desk in a comfortable chair, instead of doing that. So that's why I was like, I'll come over here. It's not as hot being under all the lights, and plus that's overkill for being a guest on the show. So
I
try to give the same background that we can do that. But again, that's kind of why, from being in the broadcast space, bringing that over here to the gaming space, like I try to help people just like Brandy with some of that, like the live stuff, and not to be like, oh, look at him, he knows, he's got all this stuff. It's to help to make the content better for the audience, for the people that are watching. So that's kind of like a passion of mine. So nobody has to go out and buy $100,000 worth of equipment to do a podcast. I'm just saying, just because I had it, that's why.
Yeah. Although I kind of scoff at spending $100 for a microphone. It's like, holy smokes!
I won't tell you what mine cost.
Well, I can go to a micro center up in Chicago, which I have the option to do, but that's the only place I can go other than St. Louis. Podunk, Springfield, Illinois doesn't have one. We don't have any computer superstores in this city. It's like
your headset one sounds good. You sound better than most people. Like, honestly, let me show you something here.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen YouTubers. They wear those little mics from DJI, and like they'll hook the receiver up to their phone or to something, and they're like, I don't know, $300-$400.
Yeah.
Like I have this set here, and you can get it on Amazon. It's less than $100, and there's these little microphones that you put them on, magnetize them to your shirt.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And then you take the receiver and you hook it into your phone, or you can hook it into your Mac, your PC. They have one for iOS, and they have one for Android or USB-C, which would be Android or PC. And you could use this as a microphone. You wouldn't need to use like a microphone like I have here. Just get something like this and be on a podcast, and you'll sound phenomenal. Like I use stuff like this for my YouTube videos, not this one. I use like the DJIs. But I always tell people, video's forgiving. Somebody can't hear you clear, or your audio sounds like trash, they're tuning out.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, anytime you're doing a podcast, even if you're doing video, if you're grainy looking, or like in Brandy's case, she wasn't using the camera yet, her audio was good, so people stayed tuned in. You always want to make sure your audio is good.
And there's another content creator I know that her audio's like real low, but she hasn't figured out how to turn it up. It's like, good.
Sounds like Nintendo Land. She has a lot of problems.
Oh, you outed her.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mindy. You know I love you.
She's in my neck of the woods, by the way. I'll probably meet up with her coming up in April for Midwest
She
Gaming.
was in Cleveland last year. We had her on the panel a couple times. But I tune into her live streams sometimes when I can to watch her play games and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's always having audio problems.
I've
And
offered her help, but I don't know what's going on.
yeah,
I offered her
it's hard
help,
to
I
say.
think. Yeah. And she's streaming to like 3 or 4 platforms, and she claims, "Oh, the audio is good on one particular platform, but the others are sucky." Like,
That sounds
I don't
weird.
know how that happened.
Yeah, because Brandy and I, we stream to 20 different platforms when we do the show, and between our two
I don't know
channels,
YouTube.
we go to YouTube, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Facebook groups. We go to our Facebook, my website. We go to her Facebook.
I need your Twitch channel so I can get that subscribed.
It should be twitch.tv/the Tech Buzz. I believe that's what it is. So
Okay, look at that.
don't so when people go to see it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you got that many like followers!" And it. Let me preface this: I was on Twitch back when it was Justin TV.
Yeah.
And then Twitch bought him out, so all my followers from Justin TV got transferred over and stuff like that. So I really don't have a huge presence on Twitch. I'll be quite honest with you, but I stream to it anyways because if you get stragglers, our big audience is usually YouTube and Facebook. That's usually where we do the best, and we try to go to where everybody can see us, not just because there's people like you're on Twitch that just live on Twitch, and there's people that just live on Facebook, and there's people that just live in YouTube. So you got to go where the people are at. So
Well, I also had to pay for a subscription to even stream to more than one platform.
with
StreamYard, yeah.
StreamYard. So you should look into Restream. Restream has a StreamYard setup kind of similar to what you have right here, except one of their caveats is part of the payment that you pay them, if it's like $30 a month, you get to go to 5, 6, 7 different destinations that you want to.
Yeah.
So, but it works the same way as StreamYard here with Restream if you want to stay in that kind of ecosystem of doing a StreamYard setup.
I considered going to EVMUX.
Okay.
EVMUX.
I've never gone to that platform, so I've heard of it, but I don't know it.
I was looking at StreamYard and they've increased prices, and I was looking at EVMUX as was planning to go there instead. But StreamYard went on sale for about the same prices they were charging. So I subscribed to StreamYard because I already had stuff on StreamYard. I was just going off the free service.
What is the price for something like that?
StreamYard per month, or
per
month,
month. However you do it
by the year.
Yeah.
Pricing at this moment, the core is like $36 a month. Advanced is like $69 a month, but it could be discounted if you
if you go to Restream and you want to go to 5 destinations or 5 channels, it's $39 a month.
Yeah, but I'm paying for because I bought a year.
Oh, well, yeah. So you have a year, right? No, I got you. So the pricing, they're competing right now. They're battling for pricing, and
yeah.
So I don't use them. What I do is I'll use a cloud streaming service like a Restream. So I use other software like I don't use OBS, but it's like OBS where you can it's more professional broadcast software that you can stream, and then I send that to the cloud system, which then distributes it so it doesn't tank all my internet in my house.
Yeah.
Going to all those destinations, kind of like what you're doing too with StreamYard.
So StreamYard, you feed it into one place and then it shoots it out to everybody else.
That's what I do here. I have a machine. So with that, you saw my setup. So each machine does something different, and that prevents me from crashing during. I can count on one hand how many times in the 20 years that I've been doing this that I've had crashes.
Right.
I mean, I have a streamline, so different machine. Like I said, it's overkill, but I
Yeah.
have a different machine. Brandy will tell you in all the episodes we've done, we've never had a crash. We've never had anything break. And that's because those machines over there get shut off after the show and they don't get used for anything else but the show.
Okay.
So, but again, that's the broadcast mentality, right? That's,
Yeah.
I mean, you're using your everyday PC.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can do that. And I get that. So, that's why that's why I have a machine that does, if I like when I show a web browser on the Game Master, if we're showing an article, I have
Yeah.
a machine that just pulls up web pages, like a MacBook that does that. My switching machine that's all it does is switch cameras. It's a Windows based system, but that's all it does. It doesn't stream. It doesn't record. I can record, but I don't.
Right.
So that's the way I've kind of built my system so that, for redundancy, so we don't have problems. And then I record to like 4 different places just to ensure nothing breaks, because you know how that goes.
Yeah. We got a couple minutes left.
Sure.
For the bottom of the hour. You're in Eastern Ohio. Have you ever made it to Pastime Arcades?
I have.
Rob Burke's place.
I was gonna say I met Rob Burke. In fact, he wants me to come out to pinball. He wanted me to come out to Pinball Expo this past year and do a live stream, but it was like 2 weeks beforehand because he saw me in Cleveland, sat down at our booth, and talked about Pinball Expo. And he's like, "What do I got to do to get you out there?" I was like, "Well, pay for a hotel room, pay for some travel and food, and I'll be there." And he's like, "But all the hotel rooms were sold out and stuff, so we really couldn't make it work." And I just started my new job. But on my channel, I've got an exclusive interview and tour before they even opened, like 8 months before they even opened. I got to walk through and show. They invited me to come out, and then I went out again after they did their grand opening and whatnot. What's that?
What are your future goals?
My goals.
Do you have any? Or you have any?
I'm not out to try to be some big YouTube superstar or anything like that. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Right now, I just love talking about games with like-minded people. I love just enjoying the conversations like we have on Game Masters with the chat room and kind of figuring out this stuff. You have a lot of people that want to be superstars on YouTube and make it. I mean, yeah, it'd be great if we could do this as our day job. I mean, that'd be awesome to sit on camera and make content for a living. But, my goal is just to continue doing what I'm doing. If I become popular to the point where, people feel the need to follow me and I grow really substantially, then that's awesome. But I just want to have a place where, like you said earlier, and I think gamers need to not forget that. We need a place where we can go disconnect. But I like to do it with like-minded people. I want to be there to talk about, hey, did you see that latest game that came out? Oh man, that's awesome. And we just have a roundtable discussion. So my future plans are just continue doing what I'm doing, try to make the show better, try to make YouTube videos better, and not take it serious.
Right.
We're all people. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. You could say, oh, YouTube celebrity or whatever. No, we're just people, man. And everybody wants respect. And that's the same with us. We're just content creators. We put our lives out on camera.
Right.
Out for the internet. So, yeah, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing and enjoy doing what I'm doing. And, whatever happens, happens. And that sort of thing.
Any upcoming appearances?
Oh my goodness. So we got conventions coming up, and Gary just reached out to me about Korgs. So that's in June, the beginning of June, for Korgs Con. That's in Columbus, Ohio. It's hit or miss if I'll be at Cleveland this year because my daughter is going to be a senior, and that usually happens in September. And they usually will have the seniors walk out on the football field to be introduced, and their parents walk them out. And so that's, to me, is more important than going to a gaming convention. So I might miss Cleveland this year. We'll have to see if that happens the same week. If it doesn't happen the same week, then I'll be at Cleveland.
I wish I could go.
I'll definitely be at Pittsburgh for sure. Brian gave me the invite last year. That's in October 2nd through 4th. I'll be at Merge in Michigan. That is Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's the new convention that Game Dad and Jay Square Pegs are doing. So I'm looking forward to that. There's some other creators that are going to be there. John Hancock, John Riggs, myself. I think Brandy's going. There's a bunch of people that are going. I'm trying to think. The Indie Development Conference, I haven't gotten dates on that yet. That's also out in Columbus. I'll probably, last year Chris wanted me to come back, and it's called GDEX.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just indie developers. It's a gaming convention out in Columbus. If Chris invites me, I'll probably go back. But so there's a lot of unconfirmed ones. Some of the guys in the South want us to come down to like Raleigh, North Carolina and stuff. So if they're going to fly me down and pay for my travels, I'll probably end up going down. But as of right now, I only have a few that are 100% confirmed, not just by me, but by the convention. It's still early. It's January.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in the area and you want to come out, and one thing I always tell people, I don't want to say it. Let me rephrase this. When I go to these conventions and I come back, I always get people that message me like, "Oh, I saw you there. I didn't want to come up to you because you look busy or you're on air or this and that." Don't do that. Like,
I'll just walk up and just wave.
Just walk up. Listen, you walk up and because a lot of times what we'll do is like when I'm at this, you've seen the pictures and the videos. We're at the table, right? We're doing broadcast. Mm-hmm. I'll be like, come up here and sit down and chat. Like so many people think that I'm going to be upset.
I'd like to crash a stream.
Right. There's so many people that sit there and they're like, they'll tell Brandy and I like, "Oh, we wanted to meet you, but you guys were busy. You were talking to other people." If we're talking to other creators, we can talk to them anytime. Like they're there the whole weekend. You're only there for 10 minutes. We want to talk with you. So if you're coming to one of these conventions and you want to say hi or picture, or you just want to talk for like 10 minutes, come on up. Don't be a stranger. That always breaks my heart when I find out. I get back and they're like, "Oh, I wanted to meet you, but you were busy." Like I always try to look around and see if anybody's like waiting to talk to me, because not that I'm anybody special, but to that person, they're taking the time that they want to talk to me. Just because they've been talking to me online, they don't look at me as like some kind of celebrity. It's just, "Hey, I've been talking to you online. I want to meet you in person," type of thing. Yeah. That's something that I tell people, like, just come up and like, just come up and do it, man. Like, I'm not going to be upset. That's why we're at these conventions.
Yeah.
So, unless I'm in the bathroom, then wait till I come out of the bathroom. That's the other thing. Let's not get creepy. Creepy.
Don't harass celebrities
just
in the restroom. Give them their space.
Let us go to the restroom. When we come out of the restroom, that's fair game. I don't even care if I'm sitting there eating. You can come up and talk to me. That doesn't bother me, because I eat a lot of times at these conventions. I eat when I can, and that's not often, and I get yelled at all the time about it. My wife will yell at me. She'll be like, "You need to eat something. You haven't eaten since." In fact, Brandy and Stephanie, we were setting up and they got there. I had them share a booth with me in Cleveland because they didn't have a place to go. And I was like, "Yeah, you just share here, set up." I was getting dizzy. And Stephanie's like, "I'm going to go out and get some McDonald's," because she's like, "You need to eat something." Like, you haven't eaten. So
yeah, go for a soda. Quick energy.
I was just grabbing little things that I had laying around. And, but those, like, listen, stuff like that doesn't bother me. My wife will tell you. My wife will even interrupt. If you don't want to interrupt me, go to my wife or one of my kids and be like, "Hey, I'd like to meet your dad, or I want to talk to your husband." She'll just come over. She don't care. She'll be like, "Guys, hold on a second. He can talk to you anytime. This person wants to say hi," or whatever.
Yeah.
So please don't wait till after the convention and tell me that. That's drives me nuts.
Well, maybe you can make your way out to Midwest Gaming Classic.
That would be cool. That is a place I would like to go. I hear it's like one of the best conventions out there.
And I got a 21, 22 years, 22
Dang.
con streak.
How far are you from it?
So it's Springfield to Milwaukee is 300 miles.
Okay, so you drive about 5 hours? 6
Five
hours?
to 5.5.
5.5, 6
Yes.
hours? Okay.
Depending on how many times I stop.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I drive straight, man. I'm like, I got to get there. I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah, because it's like the fastest 48 hours of the year. Fastest 48 hours of the year. It's like, it's now gotten to the point I can't get. There's stuff I can't get to everything I want to get to, and it's like, and then I come out feeling bluesy because
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know. It's gotten so daggone big, and I can't even get through the vendor hall.
That's what they say. They say it's pretty big. I would love to go out, and maybe I'll get a chance to go out. Part of it is, and I don't want it to sound like I'm cheap, that I don't want to pay to go out there, because it's not that. For
Yeah.
me to take off of work to go out there, I get unlimited PTO with my job. That's not the
Yeah.
problem. I also have an almost 2-year-old. She'll be 2 next Saturday. So
Mm,
before the baby, like, we could just pick up and go. But
yeah.
now it's a little bit more difficult. So I
Plus, the
try to
kids want to
prioritize.
play too.
Oh yeah, but I try to prioritize because I don't want my wife to have to be like, okay, I tell her like, oh, I'm going to 8 different conventions. She's got to stay home, with the baby by herself, or my kids got
Yeah, the
stuff going on
family
at
has to
school.
go.
Yeah, my kids might have stuff going on at school, like my daughter, my son, my older ones. Um, so I try to prioritize. Like, I prioritize the conventions that invite me out, that want me to come out. Like, I'm not one. I don't get on emails and be like, "Hey, do you want me to come out to your convention? You want to pay?" I don't do that. I wait for them to contact. If they don't contact me, no harm, no foul. Like, it's just how it is. So, um,
Yeah, I'd like to get to more of them, but it's just
and it costs
cats.
money. It costs
Well, it
money.
costs money, but I have to medicate a cat daily.
Well, so one of the big things too is, like, I know the Columbus, Ohio shows, if you go to the convention center, it's expensive to park. It's almost $40 a day to park in the
Yeah,
parking garage. Okay. Now, a lot of the vendors of like G-Decks and stuff, they've been gracious and they got me parking passes where I could park at the loading dock.
yeah,
So that way when the show's over, I can just load my stuff and go home. And I
right.
don't have to park, because everything I do, I eat in the hotel. Like, there's pizza joints in there and whatever.
Yeah,
Um, so that's fine by me. I don't have to pay for it. But to somebody that's coming out to a convention with a family, you got to park. And let's say you want to go to a 3-day convention, $40 a day times 3 days. That's not cheap. That's
no,
just parking.
it's insanity.
So, um, but yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on here. And sorry for the little delayed start. I was trying to get everything shut
No,
down,
that's
switched
fine.
over.
I knew you needed a little more time because you had your podcast a little bit
That
shorter.
was my fault, and I apologize.
No,
When
yeah, that's
I
good.
said last week, because I had that meeting that I forgot about. Yes, I had the meeting yesterday. Um, I said to Brandy, said, um, "That's right. We'll just move it to Thursday." I said, "We'll do it the same time on Thursday," and she's like, "Okay." And then we got off air, and she texted me. She goes, "Do you know you're scheduled for Crimeycade that date?" And I was like, I don't know why I thought it was the 20th, 24th, or something like that. I thought it was like the 23rd, or 22nd, somewhere around
Well,
there.
I have a guest for next week on the
No,
23rd.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no. It wasn't you. It was my. And in my head, I don't know why I had it. I thought it was.
22nd.
I thought it was 2 weeks after the one I did with Rushmore last week.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, days go by, and she's like, "Oh no, no,
yeah,
he's advertising." I was like, "Ah, crap." I was like, "All right, that's fine. We'll just do our show for 50 minutes, and so I can jump on with him." I committed to him. I'm gonna give him the hour, or more than the hour. Um,
yeah. We got about 45 minutes now.
no,
45
well, but
minutes,
I'm saying, like,
90.
I wanted, I committed to you, so I was like, crap. So we made it work. We made it work
Yep.
for both of them. But what we're gonna do next time is, because every second Wednesday I'm gonna have to go to the meetings at the conservation club. So what I said was, we'll just start an hour later on a Wednesday that week. We'll start at 9:00 Eastern, which would be 8:00 your time.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to infringe on, like, you've had this time slot. I don't want people to have to choose between watching you or watching us, or they can watch us later or you later. Like, I'd rather tell people, hey, don't forget Crimeycade's on tomorrow. You can watch them at 8:00 Central Time, 9:00 Eastern Time. Try to be like a little bit mindful, and dude, it just kind of slipped their head, and so
Scheduling, yeah, I have to do. I find the ways to accommodate everybody. I'm gonna have them on in a couple of weeks because I can't get them any other time.
you
And I already got
certain guests you got to do when the guest is available. I had to do that with my other show too. And there's not, just like when I had Dr. Lee on, when I did my Creators Corner show, I had to have her on. I think it was like 1 p.m, because that was the only so we had to do it pre-recorded, and then people could come and leave comments, because that was the only time. She's world-renowned dermatologist, right? Like, you can't have her. You can't be like, okay, you got to be ready at this time. Like, she's gonna be like, forget it, I'm not coming on.
And plus, your guest may not even be on the same continent.
That's
I've had somebody from Australia. I've had somebody from Great Britain.
Yeah, so you might have to do it like 2 a.m. for Australia, to get them.
Well, I won't do it at 2 a.m. I mean, I'll measure it out where I can do it where it's like middle of the day for them. But
oh yeah, there you go. But if they're at work, then what do you do?
Yeah. But or do it on the weekend.
Yeah, you can do it on the weekend.
Yep.
So it gets tough, and but I'm used to it. Like, but I always try to, like, when somebody. I'm gonna put this out there too. You had been messaging me, and I hadn't gotten any of the messages because I don't check my Tech Buzz Facebook page messages, which is bad on my part. I know.
Yeah.
I checked my personal one.
Didn't know.
But I did. And so Brandy's telling me, like, yeah, she's like, Steve's been trying to get a hold of you. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, he hasn't. And she's like, yeah. And then she said, he's been messaging Tech Buzz. I'm like, oh, that's why. Because I don't check it. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, that's the best way to get a hold of me, on my own personal profile. Steve will tell you. It's the best way.
Yep.
I respond pretty much right away on there. It's too much to have like your Facebook page, because I get all these Chinese companies saying, "Oh, do you want to review this?" And it's all garbage.
Oh gosh.
So that's why I stopped.
I haven't had that.
Oh, dude, I could show you some of the stuff I get. Like, it's ridiculous. So I just stopped paying attention to it. I might check it once a month. So I felt bad, because anytime somebody asks me to come on a show, like, I always go on, regardless.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's one person watching. I don't care if there's 1,000 people watching. I go on, because if you thought enough to ask me to come on, I'm going to go on. That's just how I am. So I was kind of like beating myself up, because I was like, I didn't realize he was trying to message me to have me come on, because I said I didn't see it. Like, I went through my messages, and I'm like, no. And that's when we found that out. So
yeah,
for anybody watching, if you need to get a hold of me, do it on my personal profile. Just friend me, and I'm pretty good with that. Unless you're a creeper, then I don't let you friend.
Yeah.
Then we don't do it. If you don't have a profile picture, I ain't letting you in.
Well, Stephen Heywood, I want to thank you for coming on the pod this week. Since I now got sound effects, I can do that.
Hey.
Anyway, Game Masters.
Yes.
Usually on Wednesday nights,
8 p.m. Eastern.
Some weeks later.
Yeah, right now it's going to be because of joining the Conservation Club. But most of the time, we're Wednesdays, 8:00. We'll have a schedule out for when we go to the 9:00 on that odd Wednesday. But it's Wednesday at 8 or 9:00, depending. But you can always, if you can't be there in person, you can watch it on myself or Brandy's channel. And then we also have the Game Masters on Podbean. You can go there, and so you can subscribe to, if you want it on Apple, if you want it on Android, Spotify, you name it. Pretty much every podcast platform you can listen to it. So just like your show, right? So like, if you can't be here live, that's okay. You can go listen to it on your own free time.
All right. the Tech Buzz on YouTube and a bunch of other platforms with the same username. And
Yep.
what-
If you go to ttbgaming.com, all the links are on there. That's probably the easiest. You can even watch the show on my website. So without commercials too. So
TTB Gaming.
ttbgaming.com, and you'll see like different articles, and you'll see like links to all my videos and stuff where they'll show it. It's very, very simple, easy to watch.
There
you go.
with the typo in there. Take the
that's
comma
all right.
out.
Take the comma out.
I
You're
just
good.
had to rush that one.
No, you're good. So that'll make it easy. You can get links to my YouTube and everything else like that. That just makes it simple. So, but man, I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you for the patience and everything going on, but we made it happen.
Well, maybe I'll have you on. Maybe you and Brandy on.
I was gonna say, you really want to stir it up.
A lot left.
You really want to stir it up. Get Brandy and myself on at the same time. It'll really get.
Oh, I'm good. I did one pod with 10 people on the screen at once.
Well, that might be a little crazy.
It was a knockdown, drag out, and it was a Donnybrook, and I actually enjoyed it.
I bet. But yeah, we had some. We were both on the Rushmore show last week, and we had a lot of fun with that. But I'm sure she'd be willing to come on, and we could do some bantering. Just let us know. Give us enough warning, and I'll make sure not to schedule something in its place.
And Brandy will have to be free too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let us know so we can see what's going on. But yeah, I'll let you get back to you. You have the rest of your show to do, so I'll probably tune in and listen.
All right, Stephen. Thank you very much for coming in, and maybe I'll hope to see you around the arcade soon at Galpin Ghost. But if you ever make your way out there,
dude, I'm hoping one day I can get to go out there. It's so everybody says it's a great place to be. So
they're trying to get. They're at what? They're approaching 1,075 games.
So it's still smaller than Pastimes.
No.
Oh yeah, it's
Galpin Ghost is at 1,070 some odd games. What is Pastime at?
Pastime has 600 arcades just in arcades, and then they have the rest are all pinball machines. So I think he's well over 1,000 with just the pinball.
Well, what? Okay, let me ask you this before we get out of here.
Yeah.
How many games does Robert have available for play on the arcade floor?
I believe he has over 1,000.
Currently, that's pinball and video games.
Pinball and
combined.
arcade. That's not just arcade. So if Galpin Ghost has 1,000 arcade games, then yeah, they got Rob Burke beat. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to figure out what the game game count is.
I don't know what his exact number is. Maybe it says on the website or on the Facebook. I could be wrong. Maybe it's maybe he has a total. Maybe it is less than Galpin Ghost, but
I'll have to find
I could have
that
sworn they said he had over 1,000. So maybe maybe
his collection, but maybe not actually
his
for
collection.
play.
Oh my gosh, you should see the videos that they did in the back rooms.
I saw some of them.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I'd like to come out there, but that's going to be.
Well, if you do, let me know. I'm
trick.
only 15 minutes from there.
All right.
So if you come out that way, let me know.
We'll have a meetup.
Sounds
All
good
right,
to me.
Stephen. Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Good night.
You too.
All right, that was Stephen Heywood of the Tech Buzz. A few more items before we get out of here, and I need to share this. Share screen. That's not it. Presenter invite. Share screen. Let me get this. All right. So we still have to chase for tokens. It's gone up a little bit, but the order has pretty much stayed the same. Game of the Year predictions. Right now, Musty Sagopian has more challenge cards. These beaten than anybody else. I'm going to be going after more challenge cards this weekend. Claudio is currently second place, and Andrew Wasco sitting on his level 6. I'm going to go after his level 6 because I think I can clear his level 6 challenges. Jamie Tibbetts currently has the second most challenge cards cleared, but Mossie's has been around. The opening of Galloping Ghost, he has not had a race as the Gamer of the Year. So Mossie's came close in about 2017, I believe. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen this year. I skipped a slide here. Let me go back here. Oh, it did not. Oh, well. I thought I had it in my little presentation here. Ah, where'd it go? Oh, I see where it is now. I found it. It got stuck in an odd spot. Anyway, the arcade first game of the month is now Final Fight. Currently, the arcade has put their scores in, and they have qualified. I will have to play Final Fight and put a score in to represent Galloping Ghost. Here's the power rankings. And looks like 4 to 6 have switched places. We're now 5 months into the 17th season of the Galloping Ghost arcade, and gonna be a foot race to the Gamer of the Year. Upcoming conventions, quick rundown of those. In the near future, the Game Odd Expo in Phoenix, Arizona at the Phoenix Convention Center in mid-March, the 13th through the 15th. My guest, which a future guest I will have, will be organizing the Retro Gaming Championships there yet again. Future guest on this program, who I tried to have a few weeks ago, but something happened. The Augusta Gaming Expo, Niemeyer and Michael Thomason will be there. It'll be the first time for this convention at the Doubletree Hotel in Augusta on March the 21st from 12 to 7 o'clock. Retrofest, another person that I'm going to have as a future guest. 12th year for this one in River Oaks Church of the Nazarene in River Oaks, Texas on March 21st. The Louisville Arcade Expo, March 27th through the 29th, as my other feisty feline has joined me here at the Triple Crown Pavilion in Louisville, Kentucky. I'd like to go to that, but I don't know if that's going to happen. April 18th, 2026, the Como Retro Expo at the Northeast Event Center in Columbia, Missouri. Not looking like I may be needed to film on that date up going towards the Quad City that particular day, so may not be able to make it to that event, but we'll see what happens. I know a Comic-Con is happening that weekend in Springfield, the Midwest Comic-Con, as my feline is going to step on my keyboard if I don't get her off. Midwest Gaming Classic, the big one. At the Bard Center, last weekend of April. This is one that I have a 21-22 con streak going. So, gonna be there again this year, and I can't miss it for the world. I'm looking for future guests on the podcast. If you work in gaming, you're a tournament competitor, this idiot here, create content, have notoriety, gaming fanatic, let's talk. Message me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Crimeycade. I had to deal with this feisty feline. Next week, we're going to talk about the Pinball Expo and anything on the pinball side of things. Erica Sevenson, she is a content creator. She has Erica's Pinball Journey on YouTube. So that'll be next week on the 22nd. The special Monday pod with the who is the Powerfest champion. You'll be also on the Retro Gaming Challenge at Expo in Phoenix. Micah Rossi will be here on a special Monday edition. 3 p.m. Central, as my cat is running across the desk here. This goofball here, 18 years old, she's like really restless. I don't know what her issue is. Now I just messed up my camera. Let me finish this up quick. Michael Rossi, then Craig Bass. You're the Phoenix filmmaker. There'll be the documentary Ghost Lord and the Quest for Dark Presence on Thursday, the 29th of January. And then representing the St. Joseph RetroCon will be Scobie Cult. Gosh, I gotta take that banner off because that's in the way. Miguel Ventura of Retrofest and David Bryant of Augusta will be on February the 5th. And that should do it for this edition of the Crimeycade podcast. I am going to raid a channel. Let's see who I'm going to raid tonight, as my cat is rubbing my hand, which I have on my mouse, and she's going to cause a problem, cause me to misclick on something. Ugh! Give me a break, little girl. Until next time, looks like I'm going to raid. Looks like I'm going to give it to Crimeycade. Until next time, I am the Mad Conservative Crime Fighter. Hope to see you around the arcade soon, and have a good night, everybody.